Dear learners, I, Dr. Priti Kholila Raskwa, welcome you all to this session on local narratives in heritage tourism. After going through this session, you will be able to understand the concept of local narratives in heritage tourism, explain the importance of community voices in heritage interpretations, identify methods used to promote local narratives, analyze challenges in representing authentic community histories, understand the role of digital tools and storytelling in heritage promotion. Now we shall move to the main discussion. Heritage tourism is not only about visiting monuments, museums, or historical landscapes, it is also about understanding the stories connected with those places. Traditionally, heritage interpretations focus mainly on official historical narratives created by governments, historians, or colonial authorities. However, contemporary heritage studies emphasize the importance of local narratives which represent the experiences, memories, traditions, and identities of the communities living around heritage sites. Promoting local narratives helps create a more inclusive and authentic interpretation of heritage. It ensures that tourism does not simply present a single dominant version of history but reflects diverse representatives, including those of indigenous groups, local residents, artisans, and marginalized communities. When tourists engage with local narratives, they gain deeper insights into the social, cultural, and emotional meanings associated with heritage places. Now, what is local narratives in heritage tourism? Local narratives in heritage tourism refers to the stories, memories, traditions, and interpretations of the past that are shared and preserved by the local communities living or around heritage sites. These narratives are usually transmitted from one generation to another through oral traditions, cultural practices, and everyday interactions with the landscape. They reflect how local people understand their history, identity, and relationship with the place they inhabit. In heritage tourism, local narratives play an important role because they provide a deeper, more personal understanding of the heritage beyond what is presented in official historical accounts. Local narratives often take different forms. One common form is oral history, where elders and community members shared stories about past events, ancestors, and local traditions. These stories may not always be written down, but are preserved through storytelling within families and communities. Another important component is folk tales and legends connected to specific locations such as temples, monuments, rivers, or villages. These legends may explain the origin of a place, describe heroic deeds, or express spiritual beliefs related to the landscape. Community memories of historical events are also an important part of the local narratives. People who have experienced historical changes such as colonial rule, migrations, wars, or social movements often pass down their memories to younger generations. These memories provide valuable insights into how historical events affected ordinary people's lives. Similarly, cultural practices and rituals performed at heritage sites such as festivals, religious ceremonies, and traditional performances form part of local narratives because they kept historical traditions alive and connect communities with their past. Local narratives also include the everyday experiences of people living in heritage landscapes. For instance, farmers, artisans, fishermen, or temple caretakers may have unique knowledge about the history and cultural significance of a place. Their experiences reflect how heritage is lived and practiced in daily life rather than simply observed as a historical monument. Unlike official or academic histories, which often focus on major political events, rulers, or famous personalities, local narratives emphasize the experiences of ordinary people and the cultural meanings they attach to places. They provide alternative perspectives that may not appear in textbooks or museum displays. Because of these, local narratives enrich heritage tourism and respectful of community identity. It allows visitors to experience heritage not just as a collection of monuments, but as living cultural landscapes shaped by the memories and traditions of people who belong to it. Then, why local narratives in heritage tourism are important? Local narratives play a crucial role in heritage tourism because they enrich the interpretation of historical sites and help preserve the cultural identity of communities. These narratives provide insights into the past from the perspective of the people who have lived in these places for generations. By incorporating local histories, traditions, and memories into tourism practices, heritage sites became more meaningful, inclusive, and engaging for visitors. The importance of local narratives can be understood through several key aspects. These are firstly, inclusive representation of history. Local narratives contribute to more inclusive representation of history. Traditional historical interpretations often focus on political leaders, major events, or dominant cultural groups, which can result in the exclusion of many voices. Local communities, including indigenous groups, women, artisans, farmers, and other ordinary people, often have their own interpretations and memories of historical events. By including these perspectives, heritage tourism presents a broader and more balanced understanding of the past. This inclusive approach ensures that history is not limited to official records, but also reflects the experiences and viewpoints of diverse communities. Then, secondly, preservation of intangible heritage. Local narratives are essential for preserving intangible cultural heritage. Intangible heritage include cultural elements such as oral traditions, folklore, songs, traditional knowledge, rituals, and festivals that are not always documented in written forms. These elements are often transmitted through storytelling and everyday cultural practices within the communities. When heritage tourism encourages the sharing of local narratives, it helps safeguard these traditions for being forgotten. As a result, valuable cultural knowledge is passed on to younger generations while also being appreciated by visitors. Then third one is authentic tourist experiences. In recent years, tourists have shown increasing interest in authentic and meaningful travel experiences rather than simply visiting monuments or museums. Local narratives help create such experiences by providing personal and emotional connections to heritage sites. When visitors hear histories or stories directly from local residents, guides, or community members, they gain a deeper understanding of the cultural significance of the place. These narratives make heritage sites come alive by linking historical facts with lived experiences, legends, and community memories. This interactive and engaging form of storytelling enhances visitors' satisfaction and cultural appreciations. Then fourth one is strengthening community identity. Sharing local narratives also plays an important role in strengthening community identity. Stories about ancestors, traditions, and historical events help communities maintain a strong connection with their past. When these narratives are recognized and valued in heritage tourism, community members develop a sense of pride in their culture and heritage. This recognition encourages communities to preserve their traditions and continue practicing cultural rituals and customs. In this way, local narratives contribute to the protection of cultural identity and continuity of cultural heritage. Then fifth one is sustainable tourism development. Local narratives support sustainable tourism development by encouraging community participation. When local people are involved in storytelling, guiding, and interpreting heritage sites, they became active participants in the tourism industry rather than passive observers. These participations ensures that tourism benefits are shared with the community and that cultural heritage is presented in a respectful and responsible manner. Moreover, community involvement helps protect heritage resources because local residents are more likely to safeguard places and traditions that are important to their identity. Thus, interpreting local narratives into heritage tourism promotes a more sustainable, community based approach to tourism development. Then, the role of local communities in storytelling. Local communities play a vital role in storytelling within heritage tourism. They are the custodians of traditions, memories, and cultural practices that give meaning to heritage sites because they have lived in these places for generations. Their understanding of local history, customs, and landscape is often deeper and more personal than formal historical accounts. When local communities participate in storytelling, heritage interpretations become more authentic, meaningful, and inclusive. Their involvement ensures that heritage tourism is not imposed by external authorities alone, but it is shaped by the knowledge, experiences, and perspectives of the people who are directly connected to the heritage. Community participations in storytelling also helps present heritage from multiple viewpoints. Official historical interpretations may sometimes overlook the everyday experiences of ordinary people. Local narratives bring these experiences to light by highlighting how communities interacted with historical places, how traditions evolve over time, and how cultural practices continue to shape community life. By sharing their own stories, communities contribute to a richer and more dynamic understanding of heritage. One of the most common ways of local communities participating in storytelling is by acting as heritage guide. Local guides often share personal stories, legends, and cultural knowledge that cannot be found in textbooks or guidebooks. Their explanation help visitors understand the historical and cultural significance of monuments, temples, landscapes, and traditional settlements because they speak from their lived experiences. Their storytelling can make heritage sites more engaging and reliable for tourists. Local communities also contribute by organizing cultural performances and storytelling sessions. Traditional music, dance, drama, and folk storytelling are powerful ways to communicating history and cultural values. These performances allows visitors to experience heritage in an interactive and entertaining way while helping to preserve local artistic traditions. Festivals and rituals performances at heritage sites also convey historical narratives and spiritual beliefs associated with the place. Another important activity is conducting heritage walks. Heritage walks led by local residents guide visitors through villages, markets, temples, or historic neighborhoods while expanding the stories behind these spaces. Participants can learn about architectural style, local legends, historical events, and everyday life in the community. Such walks encourage tourists to explore heritage landscapes in a more immense and meaningful manner. Local people also play a role in demonstrating traditional crafts and practices. Artisans, farmers, and craftsmen may show visitors how traditional weaving, pottery, wood carving, or agricultural techniques are carried out. These demonstrations not only preserve traditional skills but also help visitors understand the cultural and historical context of these practices. In many cases, tourists can interact directly with artisans, creating opportunities for cultural exchange. In addition, local communities can contribute to museum exhibits and interpretation panels. Museums and heritage centers increasingly involve community members in collecting oral histories, photographs, and personal memories that reflect local perspectives. Community input helps ensure that exhibits represent the cultural and experiences of the people connected to the heritage site rather than presenting only official or external viewpoints. Overall, the involvement of local communities in storytelling empowers them both economically and culturally. By participating in tourism activities such as guiding, performing, and demonstrating traditional practices, community members can generate income and employment opportunities. At the same time, sharing their stories strengthens cultural pride and encourages the preservation of traditions. Therefore, community participation in storytelling is essential for developing heritage tourism that is inclusive, authentic, and beneficial to local people. Now, we shall discuss the challenges in promoting local narratives. Despite its importance, promoting local narratives faces several challenges. First one is dominance of official narratives. Government or institutional narratives often dominate heritage interpretations, leaving limited spaces for local voices. Then, commercialization of culture. One of the major challenges in promoting local narratives in heritage tourism is the commercialization of culture. In many tourism destinations, cultural traditions, rituals, and stories are simplified or exaggerated to make them more entertaining for visitors. While this may attract tourists and generate revenue, it can also lead to the distortion of authentic cultural meanings. When traditions are performed primarily for tourist consumption, they may lose their original context and spiritual significance. Tourism business sometimes transform complex historical experiences into attractive narratives that are easier for visitors to understand. As a result, the depth, diversity, and authenticity of local cultures may be reduced to stereotype or stage performances. This process is often described as the commodification of culture, where cultural practices became product to be sold in the tourism market. Anthropologists Arjun Appaduri noted that when culture becomes a commodity, it may gradually shift from a living tradition to a market-oriented performances. Therefore, heritage tourism must be balanced economic benefits with the protection of authentic cultural experiences. Lack of documentation. Another important challenge is the lack of proper documentation of local histories and narratives. In many communities, historical knowledge is transmitted orally through storytelling, songs, rituals, and community memory. While oral traditions are rich and meaningful, they are also valuable to lose over time. If these narratives are not recorded or preserved, they may disappear due to factors such as migrations, generational change, and the decline of traditional storytelling practices. The loss of elders who hold cultural knowledge can lead to the disappearance of valuable historical memories. Then power imbalance. Power imbalances between local communities, government authorities, and tourism industries often influence how heritage narratives are presented. In many cases, decisions about tourism development and heritage interpretations are made by external stakeholders such as government agencies, private companies, or tourism planners rather than by the communities whose culture is being represented. This imbalance can lead to situations where local voices are marginalized and heritage narratives are often shaped by outsiders who may not fully understand the cultural context. As a result, the representation of history may be reflect political or commercial interests rather than community perspectives. Then cultural sensitivity. Cultural sensitivity is another critical concern in heritage tourism. Many communities possess traditions, rituals, and stories that are considered scared, private, and culturally restricted. Presenting these elements for public tourism without proper understanding or permission may lead to disrespect, misinterpretations, or cultural exploitations. Certain ceremonies, spiritual practices, or ancestral knowledge may have deep religious or social significances that cannot be appropriately communicated in a tourism setting. In such cases, communities may prefer to keep these traditions within their cultural boundaries. Then, modern technology and digital media have significantly transformed the way heritage and cultural narratives are preserved, interpreted, and shared. In the past, local histories were often limited to oral traditions, community memory, or printed documentation. Today, digital platforms enable communities to record, preserve, and disseminate their cultural stories to global audiences. Technology also empowers local communities to represent their own histories rather than depending entirely on external resources, tourism agencies, or heritage authorities. Then, digital storytelling. Digital storytelling is one of the most effective way to promote local narrative in heritage tourism. Through website, podcasts, blogs, and short documentary films, communities can record and share their traditions, historical experiences, and cultural practices. These digital stories combine text, images, audio, and video to create engaging narratives that can reach audiences far beyond the local region. Then another one is mobile applications. Mobile technology have become an important tool for enhancing heritage tourism experiences. Many tourism destinations now use mobile applications or apps that provide interactive information about historical sites, monuments, and cultural landscapes. These applications often include audio guides, maps, photographs, and oral history recordings, allowing visitors to explore heritage sites while listening to stories narrated by local residents, historians, or community elders. Such features create a more immersive and authentic experiences for tourists. Then social media. Social media platforms have become powerful tools for promoting local narratives and cultural heritage. Through storytelling, video, photographs, blogs, and live stream, communities can share their traditions, festivals, crafts, and historical sites directly with the global audiences. Platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook allows communities to showcase their cultural identity, attract tourists, and raise awareness about local heritage. Social media also enables direct interaction between communities and visitors, creating a more participatory form of cultural exchange. Then, virtual heritage experiences. Virtual technologies such as virtual tours, digital archives, and 3D reconstructions have opened new possibilities for preserving and presenting heritage. Virtual heritage experiences allows people to explore historical sites and cultural landscapes online, even if they cannot physically visit the location. Virtual tours are particularly useful for promoting lesser known heritage sites and protecting fragile cultural resources from excessive tourism. Digital archives can also store photographs, oral histories, manuscripts, and videos related to local traditions, ensuring that valuable cultural knowledge is preserved for future generations. Now, moving to the conclusion. Promoting local narratives in heritage tourism is essential for creating a more inclusive and authentic understanding of the past. Heritage sites are not merely physical monuments, they are living cultural landscapes shaped by the memories and experiences of communities. By incorporating local histories, traditions, and perspectives, heritage tourism can move beyond simplified historical interactions and present richer, more meaningful narratives. Encouraging community participations, documenting oral histories, and using digital storytelling tools can help preserve local knowledge while enhancing visitor experiences. Ultimately, the promotion of local narratives contribute to sustainable tourism, cultural preservation, and empowerment of local communities. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this learning journey.